Hello everyone, welcome to the Storyist. Honesty is the best policy. That is what we always hear as a virtue. Being honest is the right thing to do, but for many people, it is hard to be honest if dishonesty is the only thing that helps them survive. What these people don't realize is that you don't have to be dishonest and to fool people just to survive. And fooling people for survival is not even surviving at all. It is called taking advantage. And people who take advantage of other people often don't go far. Today, I will be telling you a story about a crooked salesman who was selling fake watches. One day, he is busted by the local police captain and he learned his lesson. Stay until the end of the video to find out what happens. Kale is a poor guy. He is a migrant from Pakistan, and he has moved to America by latching onto a friend who is an American citizen using only a tourist visa. It has already been a year since his tourist visa has expired, but he is still roaming around the busy streets of New York, hoping each day to not get caught. He has a lot of skills. He can cook, he can do waiter jobs, he can even join construction sites. The only problem is he has no legal documents and requirements to show his employers, so he can't land decent jobs as well. Since he arrived, he couldn't find a job that would not ask him for his working visa and other legal papers. So he decided to just use the money he brought from home to buy some clothes and just be a salesman. The clothes he bought were a little pricier than he had expected, and it ate a huge hole into his savings. Still, he managed to buy the clothes he needed, and he created his own spot along the streets to sell the clothes. But the sales idea was a disaster. Most people wouldn't even take a look at the merchandise he is selling. Some will take a look, but once they see that the clothes are not branded ones, they will put them immediately down. Kale is so heartbroken. He has spent most of his money on the merchandise and he can't even sell them. Time flies by, and Kale continues selling his merchandise. Little by little, he is starting to sell. But it took him a long time before finally selling all the merchandise he had purchased. Each sale barely let him eat 3 times a day, so he had to borrow money from his savings again. All the money he had been borrowing ate up a huge chunk from his savings. Until one day, when he checked his savings account, he barely had enough to last him in a month. That is when Kale thinks of other sources of income. He knows selling clothes will be a flop again, so he thinks of something else. But then he remembers what most of his potential buyers noticed was the problem with his clothes. They had no brand. He realizes that most people want brands on their things. No matter how cheap they are, as long as they have brands, they will sell. So he spends his last money to buy cheap watches from illegal stores and sell them at double the price, and replace their tags and brands with legitimate brands. Then he goes to the park, selling his, quote, original watches to passerby. When asked why he is selling them in the streets if they are original, he will only answer that he has a whole collection and he wants to replace them with newer ones. He also starts selling his watches online so he can reach more people that will drill him with less questions. Through the online platform, his selling looks more legitimate. After just a week of selling watches, he has already sold half of what he bought, and it has already returned his original capital in double. He is enjoying himself too much with his newfound so-called business, so he uses half of his returns to buy more fake watches, and tamper them to make them look like branded ones. It has been a month already since he first sold a fake watch, and he always changes his username in the online platform he is selling in, so that buyers cannot come after him. After a month, he still hasn't been caught, so things are looking pretty good for Kale. He earns way more than he used to back in Pakistan, and his savings are also getting replenished little by little. He can't be any happier. But that is until a certain Krisha asked him to buy one of his watches. One night, while Kale is busy selling his watches, a name pops up on his phone screen. The name is Krisha, and she looks like a real girl. He messages her back, and the two exchange details about the watch Krisha wants to buy from him. Kale tells her that the watch she chose is available, and that he will ship it within 2 business days. After securing the deposit from Krisha, Kale gets a watch inside one of his boxes. The watch is shiny and it has a brand tag that says Rolex. But once you look closely at it, it will be apparent that the brand tag has just been tampered. He carefully places it inside a plain box, then attaches a fake brand sticker on it. He then ships it to the address pinned by Krisha. As Krisha is eating dinner, someone knocks by the door. She opens it and she is more than excited to receive her package. She immediately runs to the dining area and she shows the package to her parents. "What is it?" Krisha's father asks. It's a Rolex watch, Daddy. I bought it for only $10,000 when it's supposed to be $17,000 in the stores. What a discount, right? Krisha excitedly says. She opens the box, and when she sees what is inside, she hesitates to try it on for a moment. She examines it with crossed eyebrows. She utters while examining the Rolex. What is it, honey? Don't you like it? Her father asks. Krisha doesn't say a word. She just continues examining the watch. And then, when her fingers arrive on the brand tag, she tries to remove it. And after just a few scratches, the brand tag dissolves. It's fake! Exclaims Krisha. The brand tag is tampered. I've been fooled. Krisha cries to her dad. She can't believe that she has spent a whole grand for a cheap and fake watch. Her father caresses her and comforts her. I'm so stupid, Krisha murmurs in between her sobs. Her father holds her against his arms. Always remember, honey, if people fooled you, that says something about them and nothing about you. His dad says calmly. He then asks Krisha where she purchased the said watch. Fortunately, but unlucky for Kale, Krisha's father happens to be the police captain in their locality. And when he hears the story, he realizes that many others have fallen victim to the same modus as well. He vows to Krisha that he will chase the culprit and make him pay for his damages. Krisha's father spends the whole week trying to get all the information about the watch scammer. Kale is good when it comes to technology, so he is hard to locate. But soon enough, his high walls of security have finally been broken down. Krisha's father finally locates Kale's whereabouts, and they waste no time to capture him. That night, while Kale is busy packing his watch merchandise and tampering with their brand tags, the police come knocking on his door. They do not introduce themselves as the authorities, so when Kale opens the door, he is immediately arrested. Kale can't say anything that can disprove the police, because all of the evidence is there. The boxes of watch merchandise, the computer he has been using to sell them online, and the papers that say he is illegally staying in the country. Why are you doing this? Krisha's father asks Kale calmly, while the police staff continues rummaging through his home. Kale admits that he has nowhere else to go, and that is the only reason why he did that. But Krisha's father tells him that if he needed money, he should have just gotten it the right and honest way, because money that comes from dishonesty often does not last, Krisha's father says to him before he vanishes. Kale's expired tourist visa has been turned over to the authorities and he has been deported back to Pakistan. He can't believe that he has risked his entire life due to his dishonesty. Since then, Kale starts anew with an honest living, and he vows to no longer fool other people. That's all for today. We hope you enjoyed that video, and we will see you on the next. Stay tuned!